All right, you all. Welcome back once again to the Diggie A2 podcast, episode 8. This week we are talking about the one and only MC Lyte. All right. So lots of things going on. I don't know what's going on, but we have just hit 5,000 subscribers this week. We have had the largest debut of all of our shows was the Beastie Boys, hit over 19,000 views as I'm sitting in right now. Today is June 19th, so happy Juneteenth to all of you out there out as well, to all my brothers and sisters celebrating today. Just a lot of things to be happy and thankful for going on around. So I want to spread love, and whatever's working is working. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. But subscribe. Continue to hit us up on either Facebook or Instagram and my YouTube page. Please, you guys, continue to subscribe if you're a love of hip-hop. Historian of hip-hop, if you want to know more things, if you want to be on the show, reach out to me, let me know. I am always open to have they want to come on here and talk with us. But we have a new guest on the show today. But before we get to the new guest, I want Boyd to do a quick introduction to Boyd's 6th appearance on the show. So I'm so happy to have him with us here. So thank you again, big brother, to help me out with this, man. Like, this is such an honor to have you with us. But just do a quick introduction, and I will introduce our special guest for this week.
Greetings and salutations, hip-hop. I am William J. Boyd, just up in here. Share my love of hip-hop with my little brother, Robb. Sorry about that. Throat's dry, but I just want to let everybody know out there, we're doing MC Lyte today, and it's a groundbreaking episode. We're doing one of the first ladies of hip hop, and we got the first lady of Diggie A2 up in here.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing our special guest, the first lady of Diggie A2, my lovely wife of 10 years, Jessica Dalby, is on with us today to talk to us about the influence of MC Lyte. And I'm not even going to take up too much time. I'm going to let her introduce herself. And could you do us a favor and talk to us about when you fall in love with hip-hop, and what does hip-hop mean to you in your life?
Well, my name is Jessica Yvonne Dalby. And yes, I am the queen of Diggie A2, so let it be known. I am happily married 10 years to that man who is establishing a great foundation. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, lived in the Marlboro Projects in Brooklyn, fell in love with hip hop and MC Lyte, just sitting on the stoops in the projects with my boys, just chilling, because back in the day, I wasn't the nice Mrs. Dalby. I just was Jess, which is what I am now. So that's how I fell in love with hip hop, and that's how it resonates with me.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for everything that you do for the channel, the movement. And on top of that, I'm thanking you in the future as well. So my future self is thanking you, because we're going to be doing great things with this. I don't know how far it's going to take us, but I know you're going to be right there riding shotgun with me, watching us go all the way. So I appreciate you and I love you. But we got to this historic episode of MC Lyte. So I got some short accolades real quick I want to run down. So we are talking about Lana Michelle Moore, known as MC Lyte. She is a one-time winner of the Lady of Soul Award. She is the first female MC to be honored at the VIII Hip Hop Honors Award ceremony in February 2006. Boy, this is going to blow your mind. Check this out. So in 2006, her diary, her turntables, her records, some of her belongings went to the Smithsonian Institute for a collection of art called Hip Hop Won't Stop. Just awesome stuff that she has done, donating to the Smithsonian Institute.
That came from me.
You see, in 2013, she got the I Am Hip Hop Award for Lifetime Achievement from the BET Hip Hop Awards. And she is the first female MC to achieve two things: one, to have a gold record, and one, to have a full-length feature album, both of which are called Light as a Rock, which was her first debut album, released on September 6th of 1988. produced mostly by her stepbrothers, Audio 2, which we'll talk about. That distinct boom bap sound that we talk about in all the episodes. Audio 2 had that boom bap sound, so she adopted that with her first album, a groundbreaking album, which we'll get into in a little bit here. The second album, Eyes on This, was released October 3rd of 1989. A little bit of production were from Audio 2, a little bit of Marley Marl, and a little bit of some other earlier producers in 89. But we were talking about, in my opinion, the leading lady in 80s in hip-hop, period. She is definitely a leading lady. She's a queen for a reason, and that's why she has a featured episode on this podcast. So, Jess, Will, thank you both for being on the show this week. Mad love to both of you, and we're going to jump into this episode with the first question up, and it's for the First Lady of Diggie A2. So, Dan, would you please bless us with your thoughts on MC influence on the golden age of hip-hop? So what is her influence when we talk about the golden era? So the golden era, depending upon what you define it as, it could be from 86 to 89. Some say it's 88 and 89. So much hip-hop came out in 1988, specifically to include Lyte as a Rock came out in 88. So it was just a groundbreaking year for hip-hop. But with all that being said, what is her influence of the golden age of hip-hop?
Well, once again, thank you. I'm glad I'm on the show. I'm glad I'm the first woman on the show. I'm glad I'm representing MC Lyte. And I'm definitely glad it's from my home, Brooklyn, New York. To me, she impacted 80s hip hop, like you said, is broad, strange, but she started first in 87. She started first in 87 when she did Cram to Understand You. Right then and there, before she dropped that 88 first album, like you said, in 87, you cannot dismiss Cram to Understand You. And anyone who can resonate with that song will understand how good her lyrics are, because you would listen to that song, but you would not understand that she's speaking about meeting a man or meeting a boyfriend at that time and losing the boyfriend, not to another girlfriend, but from the C to the K, which was crack. That is what people are not getting from that. So to me, I see MC Lyte being an impact to Brooklyn and to hip hop, because without MC Lyte, people like myself would not connect, because she is literally speaking and writing her own lyrics of what is going around. Brooklyn was suffering. We was down and out when she was writing that. Epidemic of crack, cocaine, impoverished. She was writing all of that because she knew how it was. She knew how the projects were. She had 87 Cram to Understand You. She had the first hip hop album. She had several more which weren't as impactful, but she planted the seed and has flourished to what it is now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Boy, same question. MC Lyte's influence on the golden era of hip hop. How would you define that, sir?
First of all, MC Lyte, she is responsible for a lot of firsts. You have to understand, when she came out, she had a strong Afrocentric vibe. In fact, a lot of people may not realize it, you know, especially if they haven't watched the video, Lyte as a Rock. She, I think it was either Lyte as a Rock or maybe, am I getting it mixed up? It was either Lyte as a Rock or Paper Thin. It might have been Paper Thin, but she had D Nice in the video of BDP affiliation, you know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you what, he was definitely a part of the boom bap clique as well. MC Lyte not only had a strong bombast with her lyrics, she was just as tough as the dudes. Her delivery was assertive. She wasn't like passive or anything. It wasn't until later on, like the next album, she actually dressed a little bit nicer, a little bit more feminine. The makeup was never ostentatious, though. It was always just right, and it accentuated her face and style. And just when people might have thought, okay, here she comes, she's about to get all sexy, she hit them with Roughneck, but that's in the future. Anyway, you gotta understand, in the 80s, her style was, whether you were female or male, it was unlike any anybody else's. Her impact, not only was it impactful for Brooklyn, it was impactful for hip hop because nobody ever saw that. I mean, I knew some sexist dudes around the way that were sitting up there, spitting her lyrics. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was crazy because from Light as a Rock, Cram to Understand You, Cha 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 on her next one, she really did her thing. When she came out, it was kind of, I don't want to say a female LL because that's not a perfect analogy, but
just to
she
kind of
was.
She came into a male-dominated hip hop. 95% of hip hop artists were males, so she wasn't gonna just bow down. She was gonna stay. You may not sign her, you may not like her, but she was gonna stay true to who she was. She wasn't gonna put the makeup on. She wasn't gonna flash it up. She wasn't gonna drop it down. So she came in headstrong, and she was like, "You gonna love me, like me, or hate me, but I'm here to stay."
Yeah. And she also had a contingent. She had her retinue. All, man, like, she's short, but to begin with, she had guys that were like good. They were like skull crushers. And she not only was she a pretty good storyteller, she would also, as Jess said, she would talk about Brooklyn. She was Brooklyn. And that guy Sam didn't just permeate a couple songs on this album. Sam went on to she talked about Sam a few albums, and it was kind of like it was in a different tone than like EPMD's Jane, but there was a common thread there. But she always told stories. She was Brooklyn like the map, straight up and down, no special effects, So I applaud her because her and Queen Latifah were very instrumental. I mean, but right now, we're talking about Lyte. There are a lot of female MCs right now that stand on the back and have stood on the backs of the likes of MC Lyte, because when she came out, that's when people went, oh, we can do this. I don't have to have a penis to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, not only can I rap, I don't have to be all, sexed up and whatever. You know what I'm saying? MC Lyte came in like a ton of bricks, and she wasn't rolling over for anybody. Period.
Yeah. Awesome points for both of you. What I will also say is, the video boy you're talking about is Light as a Rock. And Light as a Rock, she had like the Afrocentric kind of vibe in the video. She pushed off the little stand. She pushed off the stand. She gets on the stand. Got to lift them up like in the whole Egyptian kind of vibe. I was like, oh, that was dope. Like doing that before Latifah, right? So she doing the Afrocentric, giving back homage to the motherland. She had on the medallions and everything in that video. She did that even before Latifah did, which means she opened it for Latifah to piggyback off of what you just said. But yeah, I definitely agree with both of you. Influence on 80s hip hop is completely unmatched. I don't know if there was, even if it even was, we'll say another female MC, could they rap is the question. Now, I think MC Lyte was one of those rarities where she could stand toe to toe with the dudes, just as nasty, just as raw with the punchline. Which brings me to my next discussing question. So she had a small hip hop altercation, right? Antoinette. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you first on this one, boy. So what was your impression like within that battle? A pretty good hip hop battle, I would say. They went back and forth a couple of disc records. But what was your take?
Okay, so in the early days of hip hop, in the golden era, it had a much more, even then it was kind of street level, it was underground, but the impact was the impact now would be kind of like, it would be below a Meek Mill Drake beef, but it would still be noticeable. You know what I'm saying? Now, that having been said, my mom used to have this saying that some people don't believe fat meat is greasy, and some people don't believe that shit stinks. Okay? Apparently, Antoinette was that broad, because look, just like Salt and Pepper got famous when they dissed Slick Rick, and he forgave him for that, you know what I'm saying? Just like that, it wasn't quite the same, because this broad decided she was going to take pot shots at the queen. Not Latifah, but the queen at this point. She went in on MC Lyte. I wish I'd had the time to get the song. I think it was called I something.
Lights up, party over.
I think no, that was later. That was later. That was her response.
It was when she stole Audio 2's beat, right? That's how the whole thing got started.
Yep. Because the beat that she used was very similar to that Audio 2, Milk is Chillin'. So MC Lyte took offense to that, you know what I'm saying? But she also took offense to old girl coming at her off of Herbie Lovebug's album that he had a bunch of different artists on.
Right.
Man, look, like I said, I wish I had the time to do all of this, but she tried to go at MC Lyte, and that was dumb. It was kind of like MC Nobody trying to go at LL. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? There was a furious back and forth between them. I won't get too deep into it, you know what I'm saying? But the reason I don't want to get too deep into it, because although Lyte won and she was the victor, Antoinette didn't necessarily, she had ghostwriters. And I think what it was somebody was behind her saying, blah, 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 you can do this, this, that, and the third, you can be better than her. And MC Lyte was having none of that. None of it. I mean, there are songs that MC Lyte had that I listen to now and I go, ooh, you know what I'm saying? I feel some kind of way. But yeah, I'm telling you, and in fact, it was very common for women of that era that came out after Lyte to kind of go at each other. It wasn't necessarily the crab in the barrel syndrome. It's iron sharpens iron. Just like with men, you know what I'm saying? You didn't necessarily in the early days of rap need a valid reason. You could be as petty as hell. Like the bridge is over, you know what I'm saying? KRS felt some kind of way and he went after Juice Crew. So but yeah, Antoinette, as history goes, it hasn't looked favorably on Antoinette, you know what I'm saying? And MC Lyte, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah. It wasn't a good look for Antoinette at all.
Definitely. Jess, same question. So we're talking about hip-hop beat, Antoinette and MC Lyte. What is your take? What is your point of view? We've both been studying all this week about this, going back, listening, watching videos. I saw a couple of interviews about this, but what is your take on the beef between Antoinette and MC Lyte?
Well, I ain't gonna take nothing away from Antoinette. I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't gonna take nothing. But I am gonna say she ain't write her own lyrics. Bottom line, let's keep it real right there. Okay? So to be real, you gotta keep it real. And she wasn't keeping it real because she wasn't writing her own lyrics. So to me, that knocked her right there. That's the first thing. So the battle behind all of that, no matter whether you a female or you a male, you gonna have diss tracks. You gonna go at the other. And in that fashion, in that time, Antoinette decided, I'm gonna take a cheap hit and I'm gonna hit Lyte. But what she didn't know is that MC Lyte knew what she was coming into. She knew she was coming into a male-dominated era of hip-hop. So she didn't see Antoinette and her lyrics. She just saw another female on the street and she wasn't having it. And she was going to put her on blast and she was going to make it known. When she put it on 10% diss, she made sure she let it be known. She took her out. She made sure she let her know that, hey, I'm MC Lyte. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm preaching you from the streets. And I'm here. And I'm here to stay. And at the end, she shut it down. She shut it down with lighting it up, shut the F up. So I keep it clean.
Yeah. Agreed. So once shut the F up, that was it. Like that was like the knockout blow in a sense in boxing, right? You know what I mean? That was the KO that ended the beef. But here's what I will say of some of the things that I've learned throughout the week about Antoinette and MC Lyte's beef. So the Go to Boys, so we started taping you all. We used to have always vibe and get together and talk about ideas before we. But Antoinette was part of Herbie Lovebug's crew. Herbie Lovebug, if you all don't know, was responsible for Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play. So with that in mind, with Antoinette stealing that beat, that boom bap beat, if y'all go back, go listen. I'm gonna put a graphic up in a second. Go back and listen to Audio 2. dudes were geniuses, yo. Like they couldn't rap very.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He and Gizmo, them dudes were geniuses, right? So they make these dope ass beats.
Yep.
Right? But Antoinette decided to bite the beat. And what Audio 2 said was, yo, we can't come at a girl, you know what I mean? Because we do. So we gonna stick MC on them. So that's how the whole thing really got kicked off. So MC Lyte comes out of hard with 10% diss. Antoinette comes back with another one, which was really kind of weak. And then she just knocked it out with Shut the F Up, ho. So I mean, it's that's what hip hop history says. But it's a good hip. Any beef to me is good for hip hop. Competition is all about who's the best in this and that. So it's always good. I think in the 80s, what's different about what Boyd brought up between Meek Mill and Drake was they use it as a publicity stunt now, right? Now it's all about getting sales.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like you stole my beat. Like that's like mad disrespectful. I'm not gonna say that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The difference between 80s hip hop and you know, in the 20 teens where, you know, hey, boy, let's have a beef, man. Let's get paid off this. Then we're gonna be boys afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do this.
It's different back in the day. Like if you took somebody's beat, that was the ultimate disrespect, and they was gonna let you know about it. I mean, that's I guess times are changing, you guys. You know, maybe we're getting old, and you know it is. But go ahead, boy.
That album was the house. I want to say it was the house that Rap built. It was a compilation album. I still can't remember the song that she went at MC Lyte on, but it was just like, I'm pretty sure everybody was looking like, what did you just do? You know what I'm saying? It was one of those numbers. But yeah, I don't even know if it's still available, dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm telling you.
I don't even think it's on YouTube.
It was the younger she was the younger brother of Gizmo and the other dude, I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Yeah, Milky.
Yeah.
Milky D. Yeah.
Yep.
And Gizmo, Audio 2. Go back and do your homework, you guys. Audio 2 was man. Them dudes was dope, man.
Yes.
They were.
Exactly, man.
Don't sleep on them. But all right, getting into our last discussion question, you guys. So this week, shout out to Hip Hop Heads Unite. We got some new members that joined this week. I appreciate all the members. Hip Hop Heads Unite has grown so much in the last 4 years, but I always give homage to go back to my roots, which was Hip Hop Heads Unite. So I went back and did a poll question this week, and I asked the group about MC Lyte, her influence, and would you put MC Lyte on your Mount Rushmore of hip hop artists in the 80s? So I'm gonna pass the mic to Jess first. So Jess, when you think about influential artists, hip hop artists in the 80s, does MC Lyte make that top 4? So we're talking about the top 4 of all artists in the hip hop artists in the 80s. Does she make that list?
I'm going to answer just one word, yes. Let me elaborate real quick for you, for those who want to know why I say yes. It ain't biased, just a little, but I'm going to tell you why. You talking about Mount Rushmore. Your specific question was, if there is a Mount Rushmore of 80s hip hop artists, and you put in parentheses, Roosevelt, Washington, Lincoln, and Jefferson, then you asked if MC Lyte made the list.
Indeed.
I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say why, real quick, not to take up much time. You got to know what Mount Rushmore is in order to answer that question. So Mount Rushmore, simple, it's a symbol of America. People go there for what? They want to know the birth, the growth, the development, and they want to know how we preserve the country. But the biggest thing is it's a symbol of freedom and hope for the people, for all the cultures. Let me make it clear, all the cultures and backgrounds and races and people in this country. So to me, most deaf MC Lyte should be up there because she came into a male world, she crushed it, she put a platform for females, she allowed hip hop to blossom to what it is today for men and women, and collaborated and unified. So for me, I take it further than hip hop and I take it to how everything is today. And I think MC Lyte is instrumental to being on Mount Rushmore, from hip hop music to today's society. Bottom line up front.
That's gonna be hard to follow, Boyd, but that's a tough one to follow, Man, but same question, sir. So I think I saw your vote on the list this week that you voted yes, she's on there. But really quickly, I know it's a really hard act to follow, right? That's what I do for bringing on someone that can articulate themselves super efficiently on the show. So I'm trying to fall back a little bit. Look at it, it's a sip of that drink. That's what's up. That's why I married you. That's man. Wait,
You got a good one. You got a good one.
MC Lyte, does she make your Mount Rushmore of hip hop of artists in the 80s, hip hop artists in the 80s? Now, we've had some juggernauts of shows so far. So does she slide into that list? Or the flip on the question, does she make the list because she's a dope MC, or does she make the list because you have to have a female on there? So what do you think about that?
I'll go with the kind of questionable one first because it's a two-part answer. And then I'm gonna slip in, a little bit of, beef history as well. So, all right, but I'm a sandwich it. All right. So Jess she brought up some very valid points, and I do agree. I do. My issue is because she was a female, you know what I'm saying? She definitely gets a vote. I'll give you that. Not just a vote, but she should be considered at a minimum. But there were so many dope 80s acts in the golden era of hip hop, it'd be difficult to leave anyone off. That having been said, I won't get too specific with it, but she should definitely be considered. Now, I'm gonna throw a little meat in there. MC Lyte didn't just have a beef with Antoinette. She had a beef with Roxanne Shante, and I'm gonna tell you, KRS-One assisted her on this track, and I'm not gonna talk about the name of the track because some of my people might be watching, and Mr. Boyd is PG, so we'll leave it at that. Let's just say KRS-One had Roxanne Shante is only good for, and we just we'll go with that. So that's the meat. Let's just say it was a very disparaging track for Roxanne, and move on. Now, in as much as Mount Rushmore is concerned, MC Lyte, as far as her sex is concerned, she most assuredly, overwhelmingly, her and Queen definitely. That's two spots that they got them. I don't care. I know they got, we went up from the Bosses to the Kims, the Browns, the Eves. You know what I'm saying? We got the Young M.A.s now, and the Young M.A.s. Anyway, the thing is, she definitely deserves to be on that Mount Rushmore. In fact, she should be the first one up there, when it comes to females. She should be deep. I know Queen Latifah's more well-known, but MC Lyte should be up there first. That should be the first bust up there on that Mount Rushmore when you're talking about female MCs. There's some that have had more acclaim. There's some that had more record sales. But without Lyte, some of those broads are, working it. How did Biggie say? Don't be mad. UPS is hiring.
I think that's well put, and I agree with both of you. So, what I would say is when you're doing the foundation for 80s hip hop, like Boyd mentioned, we've had some juggernauts on the season so far. C, LL Cool J, Eric B. and Rakim, Beastie Boys. Those are some juggernaut acts in hip hop. But have to give Lyte her props. You have to. I don't know how you do it. You have to fit her in. I don't care because she's a female. I don't care if it's because if she can rhyme. The girl was our age, a little bit. I think she's around your age, boy. She's 49 years old. She was 17, 16 years old, rapping dudes, out.
Yes.
As men in her era in 88, right? So when we talk about MC Lyte, you can't just not give her props because she's a female. I think you give her props because she can rhyme, all right? That she can just flat out rhyme. She won a couple of battles, so she's battle tested. A lot of MCs are not battle tested, so I would say she's on the right side of history. She makes my Rushmore of hip hop just because of her influence. I love the Cha Cha Cha. I can go on about this on and on and on. But Cha, she comes in, right? She's like, you could Cha 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 to this Marcy.
I think Robb, the greatest seat that you heard thus far.
That's it. argument you need. That's all the argument you need. Like, there's no one else. Like I mentioned, Latifah is great, and she should have been on this season as well too. I don't know how she get enough votes. She should have been on this season as well. Latifah is just as much influential as MC Lyte. When you're talking about rhyme skills, rhyme schemes, being creative, I think MC Lyte is a little bit above Queen Latifah when it comes to that era, but it all depends on your perspective. But I think we do give her props before that. So, boy, I'll let you have the last word on this.
You're absolutely right. I'll say this, and I'll be brief because I don't know if Jess wants to, interject anything. But as far as in the 80s, MC Lyte she was a step or two above, Queen. I mean, as time went on, Queen ascended. But you're right. MC Lyte laid the groundwork, and Queen Latifah eventually became the more well-known, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the 80s, that Lyte had that on lock. Yeah. She rhymes better. She rhymed better on 10% disc than most of these herbs nowadays on their entire discography. Okay? And she was a very intelligent MC. Okay? She was very creative, and you could hear it in her, not only her rhyme schemes, which could get off beat sometimes, but it was funny because she always did, I don't want to say off beat, she was unexpected. She always did things. It was like, what, huh? You know what I'm saying? So she'd switch up stuff. But I'll tell you what, she was on point. She was always passionate with it. And yeah, she was not somebody she was not somebody with whom to cuff with.
Word. The queen of Diggie A2, I will let you have the last word on this before we wrap things up for this week. So you get the last word, Ma. So what is your final thoughts, in a sense, when it comes to MC Lyte being one of the most influential, not only hip-hop female artists, but hip-hop artists?
Oh.
Now, I can't disagree. I think everybody made some legitimate, great, valid points. But MC Lyte, taking just the female away from her as an artist, she inspired young men, young boys in the projects, kids younger than me that sat with me and heard her lyrics and were already starting to try and write rhymes. So if she inspired young boys, she was more than just an influential female hip hop artist. She was an influential hip hop artist. In addition, as a female myself, she laid the groundwork for all the females that followed behind her. All that came up, not taken away from Queen Latifah, not taken away from Salt and Pepper, not taken away from Little Kim, but just to give you a variety, you had MC Lyte spitting rhymes about having a kiss on her 5th date, and you had Little Kim later in the years spitting rhymes where it was more in a sexually explicit with a man. So you had MC Lyte going again saying, I'm here to stay, go ahead and try me, I ain't going nowhere. And then you had it evolve to Little Kim where, hey, come my way, because I'm going to spit for you. I'm not going to spit at you. So to me, MC Lyte, hands down, from my heart, and I miss Brooklyn to the day I die, she took it. She took it for me.
That's what's up, man. I've had so much fun doing this episode. I think this is probably one of the most happiest times of my life right now. Like, there's so much good things that are going on. We're talking about MC Lyte, one of my favorite MCs. And when you go back and rewind the tape, I am solidified in saying that MC Lyte is number 4 of my most influential artists of the 80s. I am not moving from that. I said it from the beginning, and I'm going to say it to the end till we get through out of season 1. There's no other female MC that is more influential to hip-hop besides MC Lyte when she says, hot damn ho, here we go again. She is just so dope, and it trickled out later on, and that line there was what Little Kim said in the remix of Quiet Storm, right? That's how she started.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just showing homage to MC Lyte just from that one of bars right there. You know what I mean? So it's all about Lyte. And Boyd, I tell you, man, like I tried hard as hell. MC Lyte, if you ever watch this show, I want you to get so bad, so. But I am a fan. I pay homage to you and what you did for hip hop. And for me as a young man around 10, 11 years old, watching Cha Cha Cha, like I could watch that video over and over again because
I know, right?
That goes back to what Boyd was saying. Like, you know, she really wasn't like wearing a lot of makeup. She had the asymmetrical hairstyle on the first album.
Yeah.
When she came up with Eyes on This, she was like, yo, I'm a boss. Yo,
yeah.
Like, watch
She kept it real. Yo, I'm a beat hitter, a dope style taker. I tell it to your face, you ain't nothing but
a faker.
You know what I'm saying? She kept it real. She did not care if you wore pants, a skirt, a mini skirt. She kept it real.
No.
In fact, somebody, I can't remember off the top of my brain who used that, but somebody else used that one. And I want to say it was in another diss song. I want to say it might have been Hit 'Em Up. I can't remember. It was one of those little cats that was with Tupac. It might have been. I don't know. I might be mistaken. But I'll tell you what.
You're right. It was Outlaws. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freaking, she influenced so many little girls, that asymmetrical haircut, but she was always classy. Always classy. And she laid the groundwork for the females that came after. Because before it was all about, you know, she solidified what a female MC should be, or what an MC, my apologies, Jess, once again, she exemplified what an MC should be.
No question. And look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, she's from Brooklyn, right? I'm not from New York, but a lot of the MCs that we have showcased are from the borough of Brooklyn. Something about Brooklyn MCs, like you do not want to mess with. Big Daddy Kane was
in the water.
Yes.
Big Daddy Kane was one of them, right? So Jay-Z's from Brooklyn, Big was from Brooklyn, Lil' Kim was from Brooklyn. I mean, there's so much talent that came out of that one specific borough. It is real, but we pay homage to you, the queen, MC Lyte. So if you ever see this show, like I'm a huge fan, but we gotta start wrapping things up, right? So we gotta bring the show to an end, you all. But thank you both for being on this week. I am honored and privileged to have you both on with me. But we got to start closing things out. So I'm going to pass it over to the first lady of Diggie A2, Jess. Who are you shouting out this week?
It's simple to me. We taping this on June 19th. It's going to air next week. But it is Juneteenth. Word. And since it's Juneteenth, I am shouting out the holiday of Juneteenth. So I am making sure people know and understand. And all I'm saying is Juneteenth is to be remembered. So me, I'm shouting out everyone who have sacrificed, who have died and put themselves on the line, and for us to make change moving forward. And I appreciate and love you with my heart for the platform you have put, because music is universal. So my shout out is for today, for Juneteenth.
All right, I appreciate that, babe. William James Boyd, who are you shouting out this week for the 6th time? So he's on the show. I'm in the refrigerator. He's in the refrigerator. Like, I don't know what's going on, yo. But Boyd, thank you so much, man. No, real talk, man. Like, I know for the fans that have watched you, have watched your intelligence, how you articulate yourself every single week, man. You bringing the heat. I cannot make this journey without you, bro. So I appreciate you, man. But who are your shout outs to this week, sir?
Man, I appreciate all those accolades. I just want to make sure that I am worthy of them. So I'll say this. I don't even think there's not a specific person. I'm going to shout out once again, Juneteenth, happy Juneteenth. And we live in a day and age of multimedia. So if you don't know what Juneteenth is about, please do your due diligence. Google it. It's not, trust me. You know what I'm saying? It's very significant. I'm going to give a shout out to hip hop in general, you know, because it started in the, you know, basically in the 70s. You know, it wasn't just a black dominated, you know, thing. You had blacks, Chicanos, Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying? And it started in New York. So I want to give a shout out to hip hop in general, you know what I'm saying? Because hip hop isn't just rap. Rap is just the most lucrative aspect of hip hop, and people need to realize that. The last thing I'm gonna give props to is Black Wall Street. So if anybody doesn't necessarily know their history, Black Wall Street and not 9/11 is as recent as it was in our memory. Black Wall Street was the worst act of terrorism ever committed on American soil. I don't want to leave it on a down note, but we'll just say this. Sometimes you got to have struggle to have progress. And I hope that this is a stepping stone to a more enlightened area.
I appreciate it. And yes, absolutely. When it comes to that Black Wall Street, dude, they drop bombs on people. Are you freaking serious? Anyway, all right, let's get off my tangent. But all right, we're talking about happy times, right? Shout out. So shout outs this week is gonna go to the friend Melissa and Bear, my good friends from the Army, their kids Nico, Sophia, and Sasha. Thank you all both for watching the show every single week, giving me support, giving me tidbits of how things are going. Bear, I hope you retire as a colonel, man. Keep grinding, brother. I love you, man. I love you all both for supporting the channel and supporting me from back in the day. And one of the things I want to mention about ending this week is about fathers and Father's Day. So I know by the time you all watch this, Father's Day already passed. But to Boyd, happy Father's Day, sir. And to all the fathers out there that are really, really handling their business, you know what I mean? Like taking care of their kids, seeing their kids. Don't pay for the kids. Go and see your kids, man. Go and visit with them. Know who they are, know what they're all about, be in their life. So shout out to all the fathers out there doing their thing. So shout out to my own dad. Dad, if you're watching this, you molded me into the man that you be. I watched you work your ass off for years, and I saw that work ethic. You've instilled it in me, and I've been trying to instill it in your grandkids as well. So shout out to you, Dad, if you're watching. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to our granddaughter who is turning 3 years old on the 2nd of June. So Panchita, Papa loves you. I can't wait to party with you tomorrow. By the time you all see this, it's already be done. And I'll probably be tired as hell when you will all see this on the couch watching this. But so shout out to my granddaughter, Panchita. Baby doll, I love you. I love you hanging with me every single day. But all right, let's fast forward to next week. Next week, our artist we're talking about is the one and only Public Enemy, Chuck D, the Soldiers, Flavor Flav. We're going to get into with AJ and Boyd, but I'm looking forward to that. Again, thank you both for the show this week. I'm super, super happy, super proud of this, and super happy for the platform that I have been blessed with to talk about music and my favorite topic, and that is hip hop. So for everybody out there, stay safe, be good. Once again, shout out to hip hop. All right, one love. Thank you all once again. We'll see you soon.